I thought I'd just talk just a little bit about what I feel our role as health professionals in moving policy, at least kind of what we've done in Florida. And I guess the first thing really is to get, some passionate health professionals to work with you. And fortunately, I have, 3 or 4 physicians that are really passionate. 2 of them actually live in Tallahassee, and that makes it nice because that's where the governor is and the legislators. I live in Tampa, and the other physician lives in Jacksonville. Florida, of course, is a state where the governor, he says he's not a scientist. I'm sure you saw this in the paper some months back, and then he denies climate change. So for us, it's sort of been a story of a little bit of frustration, some success, and a lot of hope that we'll be able to help change some policy in Florida. This was a cartoon in the Miami Herald. I don't know if you can really see it that well, but that's the governor kind of talking in Tallahassee as the water is rushing over the state of Florida, because we are a high-risk state, and we already have sea level rise. There was a photo recently, and I wish I had a copy, of one of the city councilmen in a canoe downtown in South Miami when we had a high tide, a full moon, and a little wind blowing the water in, and he was able to canoe down one of the streets in Miami. So it's already there, but this is our governor, and that's kind of some of the challenges that we're all living with. So I just wanted to kind of say a little bit about how, I think engagement, education, getting out there, getting in the face of our politicians, getting in the face of our elected officials locally, getting to know people, just kind of, spending some time with them so they understand what we do, putting a personal side to it, a story. And so this is kind of some of the accomplishments that just 3 of us basically have sort of done in the past 8 months. So, we do a lot of op-eds, as many as we can. We visit our legislators, Senator Nelson's office for one, and that was the Keystone Pipeline. We've hosted Craig Stevens now twice to come down, and Craig Stevens is a fractionist. He's a Tea Party Republican who had his land that had been in his family for generations destroyed by fracking. It made him a diehard fractivist, and he actually is in the documentary Groundswell Rising. If you haven't seen that, I would encourage you to see that. But we've had him down a couple times in Tallahassee to speak to our Republican legislators because we got kicked out. And so even though, we're not political, he is a Tea Party guy, and he can get in and talk with these folks. So that's been a real plus for us to try and keep fracking out of Florida, which they're trying to do, and are just now reintroduce some more bills to try and bring fracking to Florida. We try and give as many grand rounds, talks to medical schools in Gainesville, Jacksonville, Miami. I've been to all 3 giving talks. We have an annual Dean's Lecture. This year we brought in Mark Jacobsen, who some of you may know, the designer, I guess, of the researcher that put out the Solutions Project that says he's got a plan for every state in the country to be 100% on renewables by 2050. Again, the Groundswell Rising, we brought Craig back again. We got some money from one of our physicians who is really, we have a big push on a fracking ban in Florida. And we actually went to, I think, close to 30 communities across Florida and gave talks and showed the film. And Craig was with us talking, and that's always good to have someone who's lived it, had his land destroyed, and the guy is so passionate. He's going to be talking tomorrow at noon, I think, at the House of Representatives. I think we got that email this afternoon that everybody's invited to come and watch the film, and a few of us are going to be on a panel and talk a little bit about fracking. So Craig Stevens will be there, and it would be a great opportunity to meet him. Again, more op-eds. We've met with city council people. We've given more talks to medical students. We're fortunate to have a very good medical, a strong student chapter at the University of South Florida in Tampa, and we're just right now in the beginnings of connecting another group of students in Miami that want to get engaged. Some more op-eds. So, and then coalition work's important. We're part of a few coalitions, as many of you are. the Sunshine State Clean Energy Coalition, which is about 30 green groups in the area that are trying to get the word out on, the clean energy and solar for Florida. We have very little solar in Florida. We are the Sunshine State. But our governor says, well, but we have cloudy days. So we're in the process now of supporting a constitutional amendment to expand access to solar. And it's called Floridians for Solar Choice. And at the same time, some big oil companies and dark money now are fueling a fight to also put an amendment to the Constitution. It's going to be called Consumers for Smart Solar. So this is sort of to confuse voters so they don't quite know what to do. So we've got a big campaign across the state on our constitutional amendment. We're in a big fracking coalition with 30 some other folks, and we've been I've been on a state level BRACE committee that's funded by the CDC for the past several years on building resilience against climate effects. For us and for many, I know it's these little snails. It's been kind of a slow process, but we do have hope, and we've had 3 coal plants now, coal-fired power plants, that have shut down, 2 in the Panhandle, and 1 in Crystal River, and we're working on another one east of Tampa, and we're working again with a coalition, so it's not just us, but we are the health voice for all that, and as we've heard over and over today, that is so important. So I think that's all I have. So that's, I think, getting, again, that passionate group of people and just kind of keep plugging away and plugging away and plugging away and doing what you can to get out there. And that's what we all do every day, and we'll keep doing it. But I applaud you guys for what you've done in D.C. I may have to move to D.C. It's pretty impressive. Anyway, thank you so much.